What's up, Extreme Kids? This is First Lady Karina Hanscom from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and this is your midweek story time where we are reading Love Does for Kids by Bob Goff and Lindsay Goff, and I will not say her last name because it's too difficult for me. But Extreme Kids, I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for submitting all of your wonderful crafts and pictures and answers for your midweek story time at ottawachurchkids@gmail.com. I want to encourage all of you again to make sure that you submit your beautiful artwork and answers to ottawachurchkids@gmail.com so we can mail you a special gift in the mail. Be sure when you email us to add your mailing address so that we can send you that wonderful gift in the mail. So let's see what this week is all about. We are reading about Shiney Pennies. So let's get started. When I was little, I thought the candy store owner was the luckiest man in the world. He could have candy anytime he wanted. I visited him regularly, bringing with me the coins I had collected from my room rent. Back then, most pieces of candy cost just a cent or two, so every time I had a few coins, I would wander down to his store, walk around, and marvel at the jars of colorful candy lining the walls. I didn't want some of it, I wanted all of it. After I had made my selection, I would place the candy on the counter by the cash register and put all the change I had next to it. Learning how to count money had been hard for me, but the shopkeeper was a kind, grandfatherly man who would lean over the counter and slowly help me count the coins, pausing to remind me what each one was worth. Most days he would smile and nod after he got to the correct amount, scoop up the change that was his, and hand the rest back to me. I usually didn't even make it out the door with my candy and instead would sit in the shop while I ate it. I would watch the shopkeeper interact with other customers in the same gentle, kind way, pausing in his friendly conversation to count change, keep what was his, and return the rest. Extreme Kids, do you like candy? I'm sure you do. When you email me at ottawachurchkids@gmail.com, be sure to let me know what your favorite candy is. I love candy too. I have to say, I don't know that I could even pick a favorite candy. Maybe one of my favorite candies is gummy worms. I'm sure you Extreme Kids love gummy worms too. Maybe one day we can share some gummy worms together. One day, when I brought my candy and change to the counter, the candy store owner didn't smile after counting my change. Instead, he sighed and said, "I think we're 1 penny short." I liked that he said "we" because it made me feel like I wasn't alone with my problem. After a moment, he said, "I have an idea." The shopkeeper reached behind him and grabbed a bottle of vinegar, some salt, and a cleaning rag. He picked up one of my old pennies, poured a little vinegar on it, added a pinch of salt, and rubbed it with the cleaning rag. I leaned in as if I were watching a magic trick. Slowly, my penny turned from dull brown to a brilliant, shiny copper color. The storekeeper looked up. "In my store," he said with a grin and twinkled his eye, "shiny pennies are worth double." Now I knew that shiny pennies weren't actually worth double, but I believed the shopkeeper that day because of who he was. Words spoken from kind people have the power to change everything. He liked me, and he owned the store, and he made up the rules just for me. In many ways, we're like my old penny that I offered to the storekeeper. We aren't enough on our own, but God still decides to see us as incredibly valuable to Him. This is called grace. God's grace is a lot like the candy store owner with a cleaning rag, making us brand new. The beautiful thing about grace is what we get to show it to others. We can decide that people are worth a whole lot to us because they are also worth so much to God. We get to forgive people even when they hurt our feelings or take something away from us. In this, we can show them what God is like. We get to decide that shiny pennies are worth double. Isn't that wonderful, Extreme Kids? Let me know a circumstance where someone has been very kind to you, or where you were very kind to someone else, and you felt that God had put a double portion of blessing or value on you or the other person. I'm so excited to see your answers. Remember, be creative. You can draw a picture, tell a story. You could recite a poem, whatever you would like. We want to hear from you at ottawachurchkids@gmail.com. Remember, Extreme Kids, to keep dreaming extreme.